So, I've said before that one of the reasons why it bothers me so much when game journalists and big gaming outlets just go ahead and shill for the big corporations like Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony, the reason why it bothers me so much is because it's completely blatant and transparent why they're doing it. Part of it is because they don't have any actual connection with gamers and they get everything for free. So, like, why would they be honest with consumers? Because, the whole consumer aspect of the industry doesn't apply to them. They get their stuff for free most of the time, or at the very least, all the stuff that they buy for the purpose of reviewing or for the purpose of journalism is immediately paid for by the journalism. So again, they have no incentive to actually be honest about whether or not things are fairly priced or whether or not the consumer's needs are actually being fulfilled. But another reason why it bothers me so much is because it is so obviously wrong most of the time, and to someone on the outside looking in, it can convince them to go in one direction that they otherwise wouldn't have. Case in point, this article that was sent to me by a viewer from IGN called Nintendo Switch 2 versus Steam Deck, Battle of the Handhelds. And if you know anything about me and the platform I play on, I think you can guess why I'm talking about this article. So we're gonna read this together, okay? We're gonna read IGN's official comparison of whether you should buy a Steam Deck or a Switch 2, and we're gonna read into their reasons why they think, spoiler alert, the Switch 2 is the way to go. So thank you to the viewer who sent me this. I now have about 4 hours shaved off my life expectancy, but at least I'm making a funny video out of it. Hip hip hooray, pop it, lock it, polka dot it. Oh boy, okay. The Nintendo Switch 2 Direct finally revealed exactly what the Nintendo Switch 2 can do and what it costs, but alongside the hype came the burden of realization. Consoles are getting expensive. Nintendo Switch 2's price has breached into the realm of what I'd expect from handheld gaming PCs, which cost anywhere from $400 to $900, but it's not just the hardware that's getting more expensive, the games are getting more expensive too, making the affordability of the original Switch a distant dream. Yes, because the original Switch was just so affordable and so consumer friendly. Which is why when you go look at Breath of the Wild on Nintendo's official eShop, it still looks like this. And Mario Kart 8 still looks like this. And Smash Ultimate still looks like this. Man, what an affordable platform the Switch 1 was. Like, I get that the hardware of the Switch 1 wasn't the most expensive thing on the planet, but can we just drop this lie that Nintendo has always been super fair with their pricing? Compared to the Steam Deck, which was once far more expensive than the Switch, Valve's handheld gaming PC and the Nintendo Switch 2 are in a similar lane. So if you're looking to get into the handheld gaming scene, which is better, Switch 2 or Steam Deck? Section 1. Price, and I believe there are 3 sections here. I'm just looking through, yes, 3 sections, 3 different sections that they're going to break down and compare the two platforms. The first section being price. Price has been a hot topic for the Switch 2. The company plans to launch the console at $450, which is 50% more expensive than the original $299 Switch. That in and of itself is a drastic price leap, but there's the added possibility of it getting even higher with the threat of tariffs on the horizon. Blah de blah de blah. I'm skimming over this section because it's really the only section that is like remotely honest, which also makes it the least interesting one to talk about. The ultimate winner here, they say, is the Steam Deck, which is true. The Steam Deck is cheaper than the Switch 2. It doesn't make you pay to play your own games online. It has cheaper games across the board. It has more games across the board. Like, the Steam Deck is an infinitely cheaper platform. If you're looking to get a handheld platform, Switch 2 versus Steam Deck, just based off price and nothing else, hands down it's the Steam Deck. The hardware is cheaper, the games are cheaper, there's no mandatory fees to play online. So we'll just hop over here to section 2, which is my second least favorite section that they do. Spoiler alert, section 3 is the really spicy one where I'm gonna get all yelly, so stick around. Section 2 is specs and performance. According to an NVIDIA blog post, Switch 2 features 10 times the graphics of its predecessor with ray tracing capability, variable refresh rate via NVIDIA G-Sync, and AI-driven enhancements. Neither Nintendo or NVIDIA have revealed the specs of the GPU, but it's incredibly likely that it's based on the NVIDIA Tegra T39 SoC. This GPU is supposedly built on, and then technical jargon, blah 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 blah. The Steam Deck is built on much older tech, though. Yes, because it came out longer ago. Surprise, it came out further back in time. so the tech is from further back in time. What you're not going to mention here is that future versions of the Steam Deck or other handheld PCs have better tech than the Switch 2, and it won't charge you extra money to take advantage of said better tech. You will just adjust the graphics settings in the games and not have to worry about paying for next-gen upgrades. It features an AMD Radeon APU with 8 RNDA, blah 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 blah. The Switch 2 is theoretically more powerful. Theoretical is the key word here. These are different machines and operating system power output and display resolution, and with some form of DLSS coming to the Switch 2, I won't know how it truly performs until it's in my hands. For now, though, Switch 2 seems likely to pull ahead. Winner, Switch 2. Which, again, on paper, yes, the Switch 2 has better hardware than the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck is an older system, but I bring your attention back to the beginning of this section, namely the title of this section, which is Specs and Performance. Not just specs and performance. What kind of performance you're getting on the Switch 2 is yet to be seen, but also what kind of performance you're getting on the Switch 2 is going to be somewhat reliant on whether or not you pay for next-gen upgrades. While, again, the Steam Deck, while yes, having weaker hardware on paper because it's an older system, you will never have to pay to access better graphics on your own games in this ecosystem, which is just something to keep in mind. And it's why I think this is kind of an unfair way to title this. Specs, yes, Switch 2 has the edge. Performance is a different story. Because let me run a scenario by you. Let's take a game like, I don't know, Breath of the Wild, which runs like complete ass on the Switch 1. It runs better on the Steam Deck via emulation. Now here comes the Switch 2 with better specs, but is it going to run better if you don't pay extra money? And you could say, Joe, you're being a bit pedantic here. Joe, you're kind of cherry picking information here, and I am. I admit that I am. But the whole reason I'm doing that is to highlight a difference between these two ecosystems. Nintendo wants to charge you extra money to use the hardware that you've already paid for on games you've already paid for. This is something that will never ever happen on the PC, and this article and other articles like it will never ever mention that. And now we move on to section 3, which is software and features. Can you guess why I'm going to be yelly about this one? Steam Deck and Switch 2 are intended for different audiences, so directly comparing features can be confusing. If you're primarily a PC gamer with a large Steam library or have a penchant for emulation, the Steam Deck is a fantastic option, which is a weird thing to say. If you don't need a big Steam library to enjoy the Steam Deck. You can get a Steam Deck and have no Steam library and then start building your Steam library just like you do with every platform. Like, why did you even specify this? That's just a weird thing to say. It's a weird distinction to draw. Switch 2 is best for fans of Nintendo exclusives or those willing to leap into a new console ecosystem. Thankfully, if you did own the original Switch, your game library is backward compatible, both digitally and physically. Again, no mention of having to pay extra money to access the better hardware on those games you already paid for with the hardware you already paid for. No mention of that. Also, you say that the Switch 2 is best for fans of Nintendo exclusives. The Steam Deck has access to more Nintendo exclusives than the Switch 2 will. Or for that matter, even the Switch 1 has. Because of that word you used up here, emulation. Are you aware of what emulation actually is, or do you think it's just a buzzword? Because if we're using Nintendo exclusives as a selling point of these two systems, the Steam Deck, ironically, has more of them. Nintendo Switch 2's most exciting new feature is that its Joy-Con function as mice. As seen in Drag X Drive, players glide the bottom of their Joy-Con controllers against the surface, even hands, to move forward, backward, and even turn. Mouse functionality extends beyond just games that require it, with Metroid Prime 4 Beyond featuring mouse functionality while aiming, as if playing on PC. Oh my goodness, if only there was another place where you could use mouse functionality as if you were on a PC. Like maybe a PC. Steam Deck does something similar with its two trackpads, but they don't emulate the mouse experience quite as well. If you know anything about first-person shooters, trying to play them on a trackpad is a nightmare. While not new to the Switch 2, its detachable Joy-Con, docking station, and backstand offers handheld, tabletop, and docked modes. It's easy to take that versatility for granted, but the Steam Deck isn't capable of this. An official Steam Deck docking station does exist, but it's sold separately, and the console does not have a backstand or detachable controllers. It's primarily a handheld device. I can't talk about Switch 2's features without bringing up game chat, Nintendo's solution to online communication with its own dedicated C button. Not only can you video chat with friends while playing games, and the console has a built-in microphone, players can even stream their gameplay to one another. Certain games have built-in functionality for a Switch 2 camera peripheral, where games like Super Mario Party Jamboree can place an image of your face next to your character. However, a Nintendo Switch Online membership will be required to use game chat after March 31st, 2026. Yes, that's right. You have to pay extra to use the fucking C button. We're talking shit right now about software. Again, this section is called software and features, and we're just breezing right past the fact that you have to pay extra money to use your own fucking C button on the Switch 2. And we're spending all this time talking about Joy-Cons in a section about software and features. Let's just finish this up. Comparatively, Steam Deck is feature light. Oh, the Steam Deck is feature light. That's news to me, because it's an entire fucking PC. Everything you want to do on a PC, you can do on a Steam Deck. It is a whole ass PC. How the fuck is it feature light? It's a dedicated handheld machine primarily focused on playing games available on Steam. You don't have to use Steam games. You don't have to just use Steam games. You can play non-Steam games. You yourself brought up emulation. Ooh, I'm losing it. However, it gains the additional benefit with an enormous software library, whereas Switch 2 titles will need direct ports. Steam Deck owners will have access to a wider range of games. Switch is the champion of form factor versatility, and the new features coming to the Switch 2 solidify that. Steam Deck pulls ahead with software diversity, but the inventiveness of the Switch 2 is impressive. Winner, Switch 2. In the section called Software and Features, the Switch 2 wins because it has Joy-Cons and a weird mouse thing and a C button for social features that we're going to breeze past the fact you have to pay extra money for. Switch 2 wins this section about software and features. The literal handheld PC with literal thousands upon thousands upon thousands of playable games is losing the section about software because Joy-Cons. And ooh, you can mimic a mouse with the Joy-Con. I can put an actual fucking mouse in the Steam Deck. I can use an actual mouse. It's just so inventive how they mimic the mouse. Yeah, because everyone's gonna fucking want to do that. Everyone's gonna want to do that. Oh, you can take the Joy-Cons off of it and use it like that because it's so inventive. It's so inventive how it's doing the thing that the first Switch already did. And that somehow outweighs the literal thousands of software options. The Switch 2 wins the section about software because it has Joy-Cons. Are you even trying anymore? We reached the conclusion. The winner is the Switch 2. Aren't you surprised and shocked and your wiener is flying into the stratosphere? Is it premature to award the crown to a console that isn't out yet? Maybe, but we're IGN and Nintendo's paying our fucking checks. But the Switch 2 is shaping up to be a phenomenal machine, surpassing the Steam Deck in versatility of features and graphics performance. You literally said earlier in the video that you can't judge the graphical performance because you haven't seen it yet. You literally said that. You literally said that. In Steam Deck's defense, there's no telling what a successor could be capable of, especially with the AMD Z2 Extreme APU yearning desperately for implementation. There is one element that the current Steam Deck is ahead in: value. Oh, value. Value. Right, with all of the software options? With those, maybe? With the fact that you don't have to pay extra money to use the hardware you already paid for? You mean value like that? What the fuck is wrong with you? Switch 2 is expensive, and its software even more so. If you're concerned about game prices in the future, Steam Deck is likely your best bet. Otherwise, Switch 2 has awesome new features like Joy-Con that can act as mice, and a powerful NVIDIA SoC with DLSS support. It has the NVIDIA SoC with DLSS, and it has Joy-Cons you can use as mice, so that outweighs all of the things that actually matter to a fucking game system, such as, I don't know, the games, the pricing, the consistency, the longevity, the user friendliness, the user respect, the producer-consumer relationship. Oh my lord! On top of everything that already made Switch fantastic, it's shaping up to be the stronger choice. It's the stronger choice over the Switch 1, which was already fantastic, because of laundry list of reasons that make it worse. The systems are drastically more expensive. The games are drastically more expensive. You didn't mention the fact that the hardware itself is paywalled in multiple ways after you already paid for it. There was no mention of having to pay for next-gen upgrades here. You mentioned physical game collections here, but had no mention of the fact that a lot of the physical games on the Switch are not even going to be physical games. They're just going to be download codes on a cartridge. And this is why I prefaced the video the way I did. This is why I prefaced it like that. IGN does not give a shit about actual consumer friendliness. All their shit is paid for. IGN does not give a shit about what company treats consumers best because they're already in one of these companies' pockets. They're not in Valve's pocket. They're not in the PC's pocket. The PC is an open marketplace. There's no one company that owns the PC. You can shit on the PC all you want and it doesn't matter. But if you shit on Nintendo, or you make Nintendo seem like not the best thing for the consumer to buy, well, maybe now Nintendo's not going to send you an early Switch. And if Nintendo doesn't send you an early Switch, they don't send you early games, well, what are you going to talk about? You have to keep that relationship going, and maybe you don't even notice that you're doing it, because again, you don't have to worry about how expensive things are. Your shit is paid for. You're IGN. You literally are not capable of handling this topic objectively because you are incapable of representing the consumer in this relationship. You gave that up a long time ago. Oh my god, I'm eating lunch right now, okay? I'm eating lunch, and this made me lose my appetite. My lunch is cold right now because I had to yell into a microphone about this. Oh, fuck this article, I hate it. I hate it all. Doofus Club time. Mash Star, Repentera is what my PP says when see Panty, Bear Brain, Epion 504, Grimsy, Edge 9789, I'm the Little Mermaid, but I'm no Danny Damsel, Kushka, Nate, it's Murkoff, Brand, of course, it's Safe, Unicorn Rocco, Wild Gamer 2001, Opossum, Bender Fondue, and Omega Hero Culture. My favorite line is from Pulp Fiction. My favorite line from Pulp Fiction is in English, motherfucker, do you speak it, aka Big Tech, Tom from Spokane, Dial Up, Kyle Ward 789. This says in Nikayaga in Envoy Law, Master Killer, The Return of the King, when he's upside down, George from Seattle, Partial Mean 8, Nick, Multhi, Mox, Volks, Auto, Cloaked, Onyx, JJ Jesse, Hail, Denuva, God, stop it. Codman 4372WX. Joe, it's the gamer YT, not 12. Oh fuck, it's the gamer 127YT, not 127WT. Get it memorized. Oblivion Game of the Year remastered. Oblivion Game of the Year remastered. Oh my god, I'm already losing it. Joe Pookie, please join voice chat more. Stellarot, Gold Pyrax, Zombie Fan, Alderatho 1, Astripper 5000, Doug, Nixie, Smile, Blast 1314, Snake Eyes 327, Devastator 2000. Joe, please let us touch tip you sexy man. MQ2396E, I'm still in the boat. Joe, please get help. Hentai X, Machina Gamma, Elite Wolf, Fire Hazard 105, Club No Penguin, Banshee, GWXSS, GWXSS, Raps Wolf, okay, Evan, Co, okay, Toodles, holy fuck. I'm losing it. Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, Really Zero Gaming with Debbie Bro, All Games Video, Japanese Name, Mexico V2 Gaming, Biscuit 1101, Todd Howard, our Lord and Savior, Horizon Forbidden Western Masters, Poker for the Whacking, Jessica Shepard, Ricky Spile, Ricky T. Savvy, Muskie. I'm not hyped for, I almost said I'm not hyped for Kurumi the Steel Angel. I'm not hyped for GTA 6. It doesn't look that interesting to me. Kurumi the Steel Angel. Everything is better than the Switch 2, especially Kurumi the Steel Angel. Sergeant Jason Bond, Baron Von Vaderham, Cyrus, Xbox raised prices, now can't afford a motorcycle, true texting in 940, bing, 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 bong, thing, bing, ting, ling, ring, ying. The first Doofus, Creed Warrior 23, Maxachev, Chap is going away for a while, take care for now. Totally Insane, Vendetta, Autry, Black Cobra, the NY Slayer, Knight of Cypher, ML04, I own 6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray, oh no, it's Poopsie, Wolf of Midnight, Snake Rider, Pig Venus, Kev Dog 92, Sequence Studios, Film Kraken, Own Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thorns Gate, Magnex, Severin Evans, Mr. Spawning 3, is the Kylian for Wylex, Wow Pow, White Trouble, Donnie Weston, Nick Donegan, Draws Mox, Mex on Twitter, come hang, y'all. Gob Gobson, Rogue Winter 919, Bobby Hinder, Croak, Moofus, Hangman for Hire, Elden Noel, Frost Crystal, Jimmy Chops, Biogenesis, Ian Action, Floppy Pinkins 97, Mega Key, Scruffy Skull, Ghost Ho, Ryusagi, The Judge 06, Vasco, Femtaker, Raptor, Tim, The Amazing Blightman, Blue Hook, Willie, JJ Schnorlax, and Mr. Techno Squeak, Jody Breeze, Mini Worker, Yeagerman Jensen, Max Low, The Cool Arrow, Mac Advertisement, Diego Garcia, JJ Jesse, A. My Kibikins, I American Eddie, Rebel Blood 80, Big Fudge, Oracle, Darth Muffin, Oh No, It's Justin, Randroid, Tooney Way, Mechanical Resonance, Extreme Wolf 7, Joey Scoops, My Name is Mud, Joe Taco, Recovering, Alcoholic, Wannabe Hobo, Jidge, Weston, Billy, and Char, Rob C, Chicken Jockey Veg, The Groovy Banana, Kurt Nallens back, Where Made Dress, What You Hit, 20K, Joe, The Last Melon. The melon is final. That's the final melon. The final melon is the final melon. Dude, okay, Toodles.